So basically, the children don't owe the taxes only because they don't have a debt. Because if they've accepted the Messiah as their brother to discharge their debts and obligations, then they owe nothing to the Father. If they owe nothing to the Father, they owe no tribute to the kings of this world, because the tribute is nothing more than the debt the Father's trying to collect from the deadbeat tax protesters that don't pay the debt. So the Father actually hired the sons of Cain, the lawyers, attorneys of this world, to collect the debt that the sons of Cain have never paid to the Father for sin. So if you're paying your taxes to the kings of this world, what you are basically saying is that the Messiah didn't pay my debts, which then is a direct affront to the acceptance of your brother who you claim to accept and claim has paid your debts, and you're trying to pay him a second time. Which means your actions speak louder than words, and even though you say you are a son of God and you have a connection with the Messiah, what you're really saying is, yeah, but I don't really believe that in my life because I'm going to pay that debt again because I owe it to the kings of this world. Now, there's an oxymoron here because the Messiah said to Peter, even though you don't owe that debt, you should go ahead and pay it anyway. And the reason you should pay it is so that you do not cause offense with the sons of Cain. Notice that the sons of Cain don't have to worry about causing an offense to the sons of God. They do that all the time. But what harm does it do the sons of Cain to cause offense to the sons of God? They're already an adversary of the Creator, and they already haven't paid their debt anyway. How much more trouble are they going to get into? However, since you are supposed to be the sons of God, you are not supposed to dishonor the sons of Cain. Because you are supposed to be like your brother, the Messiah, and like your Creator, you are to love everyone. And so the Messiah says to Peter, for that reason, lest we cause offense, go out and pay the tax. But if you will notice that the tax is going to be paid with asset money, which is different than what the sons of Cain are paying their taxes with to the kings of this world. And once you understand that you're going to pay those taxes with asset money, you will then understand, even as the Messiah told Peter when he paid that tax for both of them with a gold coin, that you go from being the presumed slaves of the sons of Cain to the creditor in the transaction, carrying with your payment in substance money the title to the properties and goods that the Creator gave you as a son of God. You're carrying that title as His direct minister and agent, so that you are the creditor maintaining the title over your straw man as a priority lien claim, and over all the assets that you have claimed and registered, which were gifts of the Creator, so that you are not giving up that control or those titles to the sons of Cain by the payment of those taxes with substance money. You are actually ratifying it in the registers of the sons of Cain that you exist in that capacity. And they understand that dual bookkeeping system because they're the ones that are operating that registry at this time, because it is important for them to know that they're not trespassing upon the sons of God and the properties the sons of God claim. Because if they do trespass on the sons of God and the property that the sons of God claim, then that trespass will be a violation of the covenant with the sons of Cain by the Creator in Genesis 4. And it will deprive them of their immunities, their grace, and their benefits that they receive pursuant to that covenant. So you have the odd circumstance and situation in which planet Earth, at this time and probably for most of its existence since the fall of Adam and Eve, have been ruled over politically by the sons of Cain, who are monitoring, licensing, regulating, and doing everything that the men in black have been telling you they've been doing in order to maintain the separation and the perseverance of the sons of God's titles as agents and ministers for the Creator. And if you don't fully understand that, you need to go in and study more of these tapes and concepts that we've been doing over the last several months here until you understand fully what's going on there. Is there any comments or questions? Okay, for those of you that want to read that longer article on taxes, I'd recommend you get a copy of the American's Bulletin, July-August 2002 issue. We are going to the point of full acceptance of commercial offers, because anything short of full acceptance really is just getting back into a Mexican standoff between you and the sons of Cain. What you need to do is a full acceptance. You need to understand asset money. You need to discharge the liability on the private side with the asset money. You need to discharge the liability on the public side with the acceptance and the return and the offer of the use of your exemption for their purposes to be able to clear their debts. All they want to do is just get rid of their debts. So everything they do to charge you, I don't care if it's zoning, I don't care if it's traffic, I don't care if it's criminal or civil, or just trying to pay their debts. And the only thing they're interested in is whether or not you're going to offer up your exemption to let them pass their public debt liability through that exemption in order to be able to clear their books and go on to their next issue. Yes?
What I was wondering is, how many operations does it take to have this clear and safe asset money?
Pardon?
How many operations does it take to have this asset money where you can use it? It becomes yours to use.
Well, first of all, you got to
clear and safe is the main thing.
You got to understand who you are, where it comes from, and the procedural operations to use it. Okay, and we've indicated to you generally that there are several ways people are using the equivalent of asset money. One is by bills of exchange properly created, properly tendered through the proper parties in the proper ways with the proper established accounts. And the other way is generally by checks on a closed checking account properly set up and executed and done.
That's what I want to know, the proper.
Well,
and also to be able to have protection and to give proof of claim. If anybody asks me what's my proof of claim for this.
Okay, what do you mean by protection?
Protection from being
thrown in jail, attacked, charged.
That's the first.
Okay. The problem with that is if you're being thrown in jail, attacked, charged, That's just another offer to try to make more money off of you. If you don't know what you're doing in little things, you won't know what you're doing in big things.
That's
And
why
so they're going to test you, because a number of months ago we talked about the fact that the sons of Cain, the lawyers, the attorneys, the judges, are really the high priests for the sons of Cain, but those are the high priests that are servants and ministers of the Creator God, that are serving to guard the holy places in the Holy of Holies. And they're going to test you, as they should, to see whether or not you are of the sons of Cain or the sons of God. And if they test you and you act in the capacity of the sons of Cain, because you're in dishonor and rebellion, it's immaterial what you did in terms of a check, a draft, or anything else. It's really immaterial whether you did it right or did it wrong. What makes anything of importance is how you treat other people in terms of honor and dishonor. And your spiritual understanding and well-being, do you realize who you are, what you have the authority for, and what you're doing and why you're doing it. So it's not just procedure. See, a lot of the these tapes through Caleb and some other people are going out to a lot of places. That doesn't mean that everybody that hears the material on these tapes understands it, agrees with it, or anything else. The problem is, if you don't have eyes to see and you don't have ears to hear, it isn't going to make any difference what the words are telling you. There are people out there, once again, that are saying, oh, there's some interesting things in the tape, but they're, quote, not all Elvic, unquote. Therefore, I want to be an Elvic purist, and it sounds like these tapes contain statutory remedies and everything else. Consequently, I don't want to have anything to do with them because I don't think they're the true doctrine. That reminds me an awful lot of what Paul was saying in the New Testament when he said that there were Christians out there claiming that there was a gospel according to Paul and a gospel according to Peter. And Paul was saying there's no gospel according to Paul and a gospel according to Peter. There's a gospel according to the Messiah. And if that's not what you're concentrating on, in this case the Messiah is the true law and understanding. If that's not where you're going, then right away you're not fixed on the right issue. Everything Smith says isn't going to be true. Everything anyone else says isn't going to be totally true. You're going to get truth, and you're going to get less than truth from everyone. And you're going to have to put it all together. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to work toward the goal of what's going on in the civil and spiritual law form, because they're a parallel of each other. And if the civil law form appears to be one thing, the spiritual law form better be a mirror of that and duplicate it. Otherwise, you don't have two witnesses.
But if I'm asked for a proof of claim for asset money that I just spent or that I offered,
yeah,
what is my proof of claim?
Why are you proving anything?
Well, if they ask me, suppose they write me on proof of claim.
Well, sure they're going to ask you.
They'll accept the money on a proof
didn't
of
we
claim.
just talk at the beginning of the evening when Bob was standing there saying, what do I do when the cop asks me for the driver's license I don't have? And the answer is, why are you going to testify? If you're the creditor, are you going to testify?
Come on. They ask for my license. I'm giving it to them.
Well, then you're testifying.
Well,
I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just, you came to me and said, if they ask for proof of claim of the asset money, what am I going to do? Let me ask you the question. Who created the asset money?
Well, they did.
No.
Well, they've got it for themselves, so I mean,
No.
I'm not saying
They have no asset money. They're bankrupt, man. Why are they looking at the sons of God?
The bankers aren't bankrupt. Only the people are.
What makes you think they aren't bankrupt?
Because all the money that we send goes right to them.
What money are you sending them?
Whether it's bill money or whether it's commodities, silver, gold, or whatever, they control it.
So you want to lay up treasures on earth? You think that's getting them any place?
No, I don't think it's.
And then what makes you think they've got money?
Well, somebody's got it.
There is no money.
Well,
why isn't there any money?
Because they're not printing any money. They're printing paper.
You can't print money.
They're not printing any money. Right?
You can't print money.
Right.
There is no money.
They're not coining money.
Why isn't there any money?
They're not coining gold or silver. When they coin gold or silver, there'll be money.
It's true that the United States is not coining gold or silver money of lawful money at par. So what? That's what they're not doing. Why isn't there any money? You're talking about effects. What's the cost?
Well, we're bankrupt.
Who's bankrupt?
Well,
Kim Asadi?
The United States of America.
So what? What's that got to do with you and me?
When they say,
are you the United States of America? Then what do you care? Question is, why is there no money?
We're bankrupt.
That's the effect. What is the cause?
Oh, I mean, if you're going to get biblical, yeah. Definitely a sin. Yeah.
There is no money because we don't need money. Why don't we need money? We get everything from our Father. The debt was paid. We're back in the Garden of Eden. If you understand who you are, you don't need money. Because the Messiah paid all the debt. The accounting system is debt credit. A debt credit system requires money to travel from the debtor to the creditor. There is no debt. The Messiah paid it. You don't need money.
Biblically, you don't. But that's not going to keep you out of jail if you don't come up with what they want.
Now, wait a minute. Time out. You are assuming and presuming that you've got to come up with something to stay out of jail. Whose jail is it? Sons of Cain, sons of God?
They got all the copies.
Sons of Cain. Now, what are the problem that the sons of Cain are having? Can the sons of Cain occupy the garden? No, because their debt isn't paid. So, of the two groups, who needs the accounting system? Sons of Cain. Why do they need the accounting system? Because they won't accept the Messiah, so their debts aren't paid. They're still debtors. So they need an accounting system.
Well,
Can the sons of Cain ever pay their debt? No, because they've rejected the one party who could pay their debt. Therefore, the sons of Cain don't exist in the garden. And since they can never be creditors, they need creditors to feed them to exist. So the sons of Cain have created this elaborate accounting scheme through fraud and deception that Bush wants to try to correct in the accountants and in the managers of the CEOs of the corporation, so that they can better keep accounting records, but I don't care how good their accounting records are. As great as their accounting records are, they can never be anything except debtors. So who do they need to exist? The sons of God have to be used as slaves to milk the commercial energy to the sons of Cain to keep them alive. So the only one that needs, quote, money are the sons of Cain, which is an oxymoron because the sons of Cain are bankrupt. Therefore, they can't have money. So they've created the illusion of a money to drain the energy out of the sons of God who are feeding the sons of Cain, calling themselves worshipers and followers of God.
That's the system.
That's the system.
And that's the way it works.
But the sons of God don't realize that the government they're supporting, the banks they're supporting, the accounting system they're supporting, the churches they're supporting are run by the sons of Cain to milk the commercial energy away from them so the sons of God cannot live in the Garden of Eden.
Well, I still don't have a proof of claim of how you can
So what you're telling me is when the sons of Cain come for you, you're not concerned about living in the Garden of Eden. You just want to be able to testify to the sons of Cain to stay out of their jail.
I want to be able to acknowledge what they're saying and be able to say something on my own where I can prove or have a proof of claim or have something that's ironclad that's not going to get me, put me in jail. I don't want to go to jail.
Have you talked enough to the sons of Cain? Have they ever said, prove to me there is a God?
No, it's the opposite. They don't even ask you to swear on the Bible anymore in the court.
Okay, then why would they ask you for a proof claim? If they're not going to ask you.
They would ask me for a proof of claim why I'm not going to pay this ticket or why
I'm prepaid. I've used my exemption.
Well, yeah, you could tell them that and from jail. Huh?
Okay, the issue is what they're looking for is not words. Just write them the monetary instrument that makes them happy. That's the whole point. So when you do a full-out acceptance, all you've got to do is write them the monetary instrument and pass it over to them. Why are you trying to prove anything and argue anything? They just want to get paid. And in Matthew 17, the Messiah said, let's not cause them any offense. They're not in the Garden of Eden. They're wackos. They're living in a land of fraud. They're living in a land of debt. They're never going to get out of it. They're blithering lunatics, claiming to be smart, like the Greeks, claiming to be educated, and they haven't got a clue what's going on. Don't offend them. Just write them out, the monetary instrument, and the consideration is your exemption.
Well, I think a lot of people smarter than me have been doing that. And 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, they come back at you.
I know.
And they say,
because they're testing you. Let me give you a story. Okay? This is one I was going to give you tonight anyway. There's this nice little lady someplace in the Midwest. And this nice little lady someplace in the Midwest was having an argument with the sons of Cain that run the IRS system. And the sons of Cain, she had been fighting the sons of Cain for years, like most patriots. And by the time she was fighting the sons of Cain, the IRS finally came out and said, that's it, we're levying you. Or first, we're having an assessment. When they reduce something to an assessment, what have they just done? The assessment is the draft request.
Yeah.
They say, you owe us debt. Right? What is the purpose of the IRS?
Collect the tax.
Collect the tribute.
Oh, for the bankers.
Tribute equals debt equals tax. We've got to collect it because we're the sons of Cain and we're not in the garden like you people. So therefore, we've got to live off of you. We are the vampires, and you, sons of God, are the suppliers of the blood, the energy, the food, the money. So during the night, we come out when you're not in the day, in the light of day, knowing what's going on, and we suck your blood from you, i.e., we draft you commercially to pay our debts. So this nice little lady gets this notice of assessment. And she's complaining and fighting and protesting and doing everything like Cain did. Rebelling against the payment of the tax, the tribute, the debt to the father, which she probably doesn't owe, but she doesn't understand. And so what eventually happens is the IRS, since she kept going to war against them, instead of full-out acceptance, and just sending them a check on a closed account, they came into her open checking account and said to the bank, we're levying her open checking account. To which they took out all the money in the account, probably less than $1,000, and she owed about $29,000-$30,000. They took it all out. The bank wrote this little lady and said, the IRS has levied your account and it's closed. Nothing left.
Sounds good so far.
So this lady is talking to some of the people that are understanding this, and she goes, what do I do now? Woe is me. They stole my $800-900, and they're still looking for 28, 30 times that. So they said, well, IRS supposedly went into your bank, and the bank wrote you back and said your account's closed. Why don't you write the IRS a check on your closed account now? So she goes, well, geez, that's pretty weird. What do you mean? So they had to spend quite a bit of time showing this lady about asset money, what was happening, the reason a closed account accesses the asset side in addition to the liability side, that the account operates privately when it's closed and publicly when it's open. When the account is open, the funds are all public liability funds. When the account is closed, you can access maritime asset funds. So she wrote the IRS a check out of her closed account. The amount of the check that she wrote was $25,939.69. And she sent it to the IRS and said, here's the payment. Adjust the account, offset the account, close the account. Imagine, now she sent them the check June 3rd, 2002 of this year. That's a month ago. Then the IRS wrote back to her on June 9th. Was that within 10 days? You bet, that's 6 days later. And they sent this lady a Form 2287. And it basically said, Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service. Check. Not accepted by bank. That's in the caption. Remember, the title is not part of whatever it is. Down below it says the bank did not pay the enclosed check for the following reasons. : account closed. Then it says, please return part 2 of this form with a certified check, cashier's check, or money order payable to the Internal Revenue Service for the total amount now due shown above. See the back of this notice for information about penalty and interest charges. The interest is 6%. Now, what's interesting is they actually sent her check back. Stop laughing, John. They sent her check back, and guess what? The back of this check shows that it cleared the Federal Reserve and probably 1,000 banks. So it went all the way through there. It's got endorsements on it, etc. It says endorsements erased June 18th, 2002. And it comes back, and on the face of the check, above the signature line, it says account closed. What's this mean? debt tendered, debt paid. But remember, this is on the private side. Now, there could be several things going on here. First of all, people might be assuming and presuming things that aren't in evidence. It says account closed right above the signature. What account is closed? The public account. Which public account? Which debtor account? The checking account with the bank, or possibly even the IRS account? See, you're just assuming and presuming. How do you know which one is closed? This could be the evidence that the IRS closed your account. Now remember, it says your check was not paid. Didn't ask to pay anything. I asked to apply offsets and adjustments. On the public side, they can't pay anything with asset money because they can't see asset money. But on the private side, you can do adjustments and set-offs and close the account. Now, they sent you back the check that said account closed. Is this evidence that one or both accounts are closed? The evidence that if it's the checking account was closed, the evidence now is that adjustments and offsets are possible. If the IRS account is closed, then at that stage of the game, there's nothing more to deal with the sons of Cain for that year. Well, I'm not sure what she's got to do. This draft up here, they're asking her to replace the private instrument on a closed account with other forms of public payment. How many times do they want to get paid? More than once? More than twice. After all, they're bankrupt. If you want to pay them 2 or 3 times, wouldn't they be tickled pink? Won't that help their bankruptcy immensely? Now, what they're doing is they're soliciting this lady to go back and pay them again. This time, they want her to pay them with open account items. What happens when a closed account is debited or credited an open account item? It's reopened again, and they can collect the funds one more time. So isn't this a test? This is only a test. Are you stupid enough? Are you dumb enough? Are you ignorant enough to want to come back and pay it a second and third time and reopen the account and unclose the closed accounts? Now, in answer to the previous question, are they testing this lady again? You bet. What does this lady have to do? Well, she could conditionally accept this upon proof of claim that with the thing marked account closed, it hasn't been adjusted and offset, and in fact there is no second liability due. Or you could just accept it again and send another closed account check to pay it twice. And now they've been paid twice. Well, I don't know. This is a new draft. If they've drafted us a new time, let's accept it and pay their debt again. After all, they're the sons of Cain. They need all the help they can get, and we don't want to cause offense. Not only do we not want to cause offense, we want to help those people out and show them what it's like to be living in the garden. Maybe, just maybe, they'll repent, accept the Messiah, and come over and live in the garden with us and stop playing their foolish games. John?
Yes, wasn't Schweitzer sending double the amount on his drafts And getting money back?
Okay, now hang on. Here's part of the problem. And see, when those people started sending money back, that's when people were getting charged with frauds and criminal.
True.
Because see, what you're doing is when they draft you, they have licensed and authorized the creation of funds for a purpose. When you accept it in like amount, you are operating off of their license and just mirroring what they do not to cause them offense.
True.
If you send back twice what they've licensed, you've licensed the double creation of what they licensed. Where are you licensed to create money in the world of the sons of Cain?
You're not.
Therefore, without a license, what you have just done is dishonored them.
Correct.
Because what you're doing is you're discharging their creation, but you're sucking their liability funding out of their world, which they can ill afford to lose by your refund.
Correct. I see now.
See, what you're dealing with is you're dealing with matching funds. You were licensed in the world of the son of Cain. You created 1,000. I mirrored your license by my exemption. So we're operating on the licenses of the son of Cain. Why are you licensed to create anything for the sons of God? Your Creator has created all you need. You don't want to license anything. You don't need to license anything for the Son of God. You're not authorized. And you better not be licensed or creating anything for the sons of Cain. They are not your society.
Correct. That's why Schweitzer then stepped on his own toes and is still in prison.
That's right. Because what he did is he sucked energy out of the sons of Cain.
And they don't have any energy.
They don't have any energy to suck.
Correct. Okay, thanks.
So what they did is they bonded the energy that he sucked, and he's in prison as the security for the underwriting of that energy that he sucked that he didn't have a license to create.
So he's the sucky.
He is the sucky.
Okay, now, this dilemma of this woman raises a point I've always wondered about. Why don't they come back every 10 days with another draft for the rest of your life for eternity? In other words, even if we pay them off, we haven't really stopped the hassle factor with them. They just come back and keep hassling you eternally.
No. You've got it totally wrong. The whole issue is, do you understand and do you execute or operate the law? They are there. It's like the emergency broadcast system. The sons of Cain have been put here like the emergency broadcast system. We are only here to test you. If this was a real emergency, you'd all be new. This is a test. This is only a test. They are sit here to test you. They will test you for a period of time.
Okay, so she writes a check for the second draft.
She could.
Okay.
Or she could do the conditional acceptance on proof of claim, but then she's right back to a Mexican standoff with them again.
So we want to stop the game.
Yeah,
okay.
So just write them another instrument.
Okay. So then 10 days later, she gets the same, now her second check back saying, yep, you owe us another go-around.
So she sends a third one.
Right.
Then the test better stop.
And then the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth.
No. Things come in threes.
Okay.
Three strikes, you're out, etc.
They'll stop at the third
It
time.
should. If it doesn't, then they're wrong. And then they're not operating the law. They're excessive in what they're doing. They're in violation of the law. They're persecuting the sons of God, and the sons of Cain don't have the right to persecute the sons of God.
If they come back then the fourth time, how do you reply to them?
Well, I'm not going to say automatically a fourth time. It could be a different event or something else. But I'm saying basically if it's on the same event, she's done everything right, what they ought to do is go away and do something else someplace else. And it's not up to the sons of Cain, it's up to the Creator. Because remember, the sons of Cain are working for the Creator. So if the Creator wants to bring them back a fourth, fifth, and seventh time, then the Creator will bring them back a fourth, fifth, and seventh time. But those people are operating not on their own behalf of the sons of Cain. They are licensed by the Creator to do their thing. And so the issue is you've got to learn that it's nothing that you can do in terms of things of the world that are going to get you out of trouble. Nothing you can do in terms of things of the world will get you out of trouble. The only thing that's going to get you out of trouble is being in harmony with the Creator. Because time and time again in the Old Testament He says, look, if you think the people were attacked by the foreign nations, you think the people were attacked by the zoning commission, you think you've been attacked by the law enforcement officer because you're driving without a license, you're crazy. You were attacked because I brought these people on you like a herd of locusts in order to perfect you. So what you're saying to me, Pete, is you're saying that you don't believe the Creator's in control. You think that these sons of Cain are in control. They are subcontracting from Him. They may not have a clue. They may not know why. But whatever it is that's happening to you is directed by the activities of the Creator, not by the activities of these lunatics. And what the Creator is looking for in you is to operate your faith and understanding of the law that He put here for you. That's what He's looking for. Yes.
Well, I'm wondering, why would the sons of God pay Him double and triple, and then
what's it cost them?
And then follow Schweitzer into
What's
jail?
It cost them?
It's going to cost them jail time.
If you're paying double and triple. But look, this is a new draft. The lady got this new draft.
Well, that might
so
be
she's
going
to accept the new draft and pay it again. Because they licensed another payment. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, why wouldn't they just put down the bank's charter number and resubmit that same?
What, the check?
No, resubmit the paper back to them.
What paper?
What they asked for. They asked for her to send in
money.
Money.
Okay. And, what kind of money did they ask her to send?
Liability money.
Liability. Why won't she do that? Because if she does it, she's in violation of the natural law. When she executes liability money, what is she doing? She's turning over her commercial energy to the sons of Cain. Isn't that going back into Babylon, back into Egypt, back into District of Columbia?
Why don't you just find out what the bank's charter is and what the number of the charter is or whatever it is on the charter and mail back that their facsimile of her check with the bank's charter and let them figure it out with the bank.
Why do they want to figure out? The bank has no money.
Well,
they want money from her. They are testing her.
You're paying it on a closed account.
They're testing her to see, okay, who's got the consideration in the closed account? The bank or the woman? The woman. Can the bank access that without her? No. So what are you telling me? Send their paperwork back to the bank and tell them to straighten it out.
Because she can't access it without the bank's charter.
Are you kidding? You're putting the cart in front of the horse.
That's why you close your account.
Your exemption does not lie in any bank that holds a charter.
But you need to have that charter in order to write these checks.
They need that bank because they're bankrupt in their commercial system. You don't need that bank. The only reason you write paper through their bank with your exemption is to take care of their problem, not yours.
They need their charter.
Any charter will do.
Right.
It's not in their charter. It's in her exemption. They need their charter because they need to have accounts in their bankrupt system to absorb the presumption of the energy you're giving them.
Well, why isn't the IRS respecting the bank's charter when she sends a check
to that bank? It said, hey, do it again. We love the juice. Fix us again.
Well, if she does it twice, she's liable to go to follow Schweitzer.
No!
No?
Don't you understand the difference?
Redraft. Okay, it's a redraft.
See, the first time the IRS said, send us $25,000, she didn't send them $50,000. She sent them what she was drafted to do. They licensed the creation of 25. She responded and sent a matching fund. If she'd have sent them